King of the Year was also one of my first competitions.
Yeah, didn't make the heat.
You know, it might sound a bit arrogant.
Didn't make the next heat.
I think I call bullshit on that.
Just kind of stopped. I look at him. I was like, "You."
I'm preparing for the worst of the worst.
Done. Went home.
Yo, Marky, what's up? How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. It's good to be back in old, lovely, sunny Cape Town. And yeah, things are how I remember them. And wind's been not bad, but it hasn't been normal Cape Doctor yet. But yeah, promising winds look like they're coming, so that's exciting.
Hey, and we're talking the Coda, of course, because it's coming up. I think one of the prestigious event of the year. You have done a couple. How many did you do?
I've done 4 so far, so this will be my 5th. Hopefully lucky number 5.
Little anniversary going on.
Yeah, for sure.
If you have to pick one moment out of these 4, like let's say your most memorable moment, something maybe that you can share that the audience not necessarily knows about. Is there some moment you have in mind which you want to tell me?
Yeah, for sure. These 2 that really stand out for me, but the first one I'll go into is my very first King of the Year. So I was pretty much full-time freestyle then. Back then when King of the Year started, they basically invited a lot of the top freestyle riders from the tour, just because big air, there wasn't really true big air riders. There was kind of like freestyle guys crossing into big air, just kind of teasing it a bit. Big air was just kind of starting off. So I got the invite and just went there. I didn't come very prepared. I just had an 8 and a 10 meter, I think 1 board, 2 bars. And the worst happened. Rigged my gear. A massive surge swell came at Big Bay, and it just took my 8 meter, smashed it against the like sand dune rock wall, and it just popped my kite. So I was like 10 meter it is, and it worked out fairly good from the start. And I made it to the semi-finals with the 10. I actually went further than I thought, and I didn't really have much of a game plan because, I mean, my 10 was quite slow. It was a sea kite. I was on 20 meter lines, and I pretty much got as far as I did by just sending massive kung fu passes. I still believe that they were my biggest ones I've done so far in an event. But yeah, I got it all the way up to the finals, and then it just got windier and windier and windier. My last heat I couldn't hold on to the bar properly going up for kung fu passes. It was on my fingertips, and I was just like, wow, I just got too much power. I almost can't do my tricks to, keep going forward. So I ended up just freaking out a bit. Borrowed Reno Ramirez's kite. He had an 8 meter, never flown it. Just went out, had the worst heat of my life. I was trying to do Mega Loop KGBs and Mega Loop Mobes. I was like, that's my only way I'm gonna make it to the finals. And yeah, I just looped the kite. He had a little Pikachu chicken loop. I couldn't unhook it. It's just I think I did 3 attempts of me just looping the kite, going like this. And I think a lot of people were like, why is Marc on a Vegas? What's he up to? What's his game plan? But I don't think a lot of people realize I didn't have a backup kite. Back then I was on switch, and no one had switch kites back then. So it was just like, I had no other option but to ride a 10 or take someone else's kite and just see if I could go for those harder tricks, which were like the Mega Loop passes, which I had dialed back then. So yeah, there was a big learning curve.
Why did you only bring an 8 and a 10?
I don't know. We didn't make 9 meters. I didn't have a backup 10. I didn't have a backup 8. So I think I definitely had a 12, 10, and an 8. I mean, you'll never use a 12 in an event. I don't think they'll ever run it if it was 12 meter conditions. But yeah, I just didn't have backup kites back then. I always kind of I never traveled with backup kites in my whole tour days, and I never really had the worst outcome until that event. So that was a big eye opener for me. Now these days I come with double everything. So 3 boards. I think I have 6 bars and double every size. So I'm preparing for the worst of the worst, because you just never know. If it's like a lit 8 meter condition and you pop your 8 and you have to go on a 9, that can be a massive difference, and it's the same as for a 9 or a 10, So yeah, you got to have that magical size, because I really believe like that magical size is the key to like victory.
Well, being in the new location, I think it doesn't happen anymore. You know that the swells come in and the kite pop against the fence. So luckily that's over. You probably have enough kites too now this year.
Yeah, definitely prepared now for the worst now. But yeah, that spot there was, I don't know if you remember that year, was it 2016? We just had a crazy swell. I think it was one of the, it wasn't the strongest, it was fairly strong, but the swell was crazy. And so there was almost no beach when we were rigging up for the comp. It was high tide. So we don't have this at Kite Beach. So it's, at least we have a crazy swell, but yeah, I'm prepared.
And I think last year was your best result, you know, going into the semi-final. Shared fourth place, I think.
Yeah, last year 4th place, so top 6. That's definitely my best result I've had, and yeah, just losing to Jesse, who managed to win it. So yeah, it was quite good last year. I got a good taste of what I had to do and what I was lacking and what I need to learn, and yeah, getting that feeling of almost being there, and you know, that one more, just missing that one more heat in the final, and yeah, really hungry for that.
And how do you see yourself regarding the future of Coda? Are you still hungry to do a couple more and hopefully get a win one day, or do you feel like you're one of the experienced, more older guys on the contest? How do you see that?
Yeah, for me, I'm like, I would say I'm only one of the older guys that hasn't won yet or got a podium. So for me, I'm very hungry. I think a lot hungrier than, you know, Aaron, Kevin, and Nick. And Jesse, they've won it multiple times. I think it's always harder to win it again than the first time, just because it's something if you haven't achieved something before, you're so hungry for it, you know. Like, and for me, it's been a long dream of mine to win this event. The last sort of 2 years, I've really dedicated myself full time big air. So I've kind of I was a bit later than Aaron and Kevin and all that from leaving the freestyle scene. I kind of always thought I'd be back, but just with the tour, the way how it was going and COVID and everything, I just really started loving big air, and then I realized that I can do well in big air, especially in the past when we had the big air tour. I didn't realize that off the bat, I was getting, I think my first big air competition on tour, I got second, and Kevin won and Jesse was third. So I know I can definitely be there. I've been there before, but that wasn't an event didn't matter which way you were jumping, you know. I know I'm really dominant jumping in, but King of the Air is mainly focused on jumping out, and that's been my massive downfall for this event. It's just not adapting to the conditions for this event, and that's what I've been working on the last 2.5 years. So it definitely paid off last year. As you saw, I changed my game plan completely. I stopped trying to win with new tricks coming in, and I just focused on what scores well, and that's jumping off waves going out. So I just relearned everything switch, and it's definitely paid off. But obviously it's a harder route for me. Learning things switch isn't fun. Like, it's kind of like starting off scratch again. So this one's definitely going to mean a lot for me if I pull it off, because it's the most hardest thing I've worked towards to achieve. So yeah, really want to prove to myself I can do it, and yeah, just send it. But I'll definitely want to do as much King of the Airs as possible. As long as I'm hungry and motivated, I'm just going to go 100% all the time for it.
Nice. Well, we're definitely going to watch you. Best of luck. Hopefully you take it home. And okay, man, see you soon.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Later.
Yo.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.